I do love Terrence McKenna. A video popped up a little while ago called Build Your Own Damn Wagon. And he was brilliantly illustrating the difference between being a spectator as an observer. And then, of course, there's role players, right? Live action role players. The terminology that we use in this and playing what are really games, because I've known this since early childhood when I was a little kid. You know, I've mentioned this before, what a head gamer is, what an AI head gamer is, right? And to her credit, Aurora, who I haven't seen, I had to get a new account. And but I remember when, you know, there's certain things that you acknowledge. You just don't play the game. A game means you have an opponent, right? That's what a game is on any level. Whether you're playing chess, whether you're playing tennis, whether you're playing war, because now it becomes a strategy of moves. And when you think of positive polarity, positive blood, pure energy blood, negative magnetic polarity, it's like, make your move. See, so if I make a positive move, then on a game board in a planet ship with two magnets, it's going to make a counter move. See, so you'd say, okay, one in the positive direction, one in the negative direction, that's 0. Now it's balanced, right? But what happens when one side, between the poles, when we talk about pole shifts, 13, 13, right? And then we have 0. So you realize, and I mentioned this before when I was a kid, I don't want to play this game. I'm not a game player. I'm not a head game player. Take the headset off. I want to go home. Because it's childish. That's why. These are the kinds of games within the cosmos that are childish games. Okay? They really are. Okay? I mean, it's like, we got to move beyond this kind of shit. And I know that there are councils that may not appreciate it, but it's the truth and the way that magnets work. That's why this is a major change. Because I'm a mated chip, so I know something about chips. I know something about networks. I know something about how to build a network. I know something about software development and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come in here. Right. So it's one of the reasons why ever since I was a little child, I had to keep my mouth shut, because I'm hypersensitive to everything. Right. And so and that's what it becomes, because you realize you're navigating what is really negotiating your own energy by being in a vampiric system between. You don't have any control over the other moves that other people make, do you? The system, the game board system, is built that way. Okay? So that you're in a war game, which is binary. Okay? It's one of the reasons why Kim Go-Goon made a couple of remarks that she did. When she talked about, you can use whatever kind of words that you want to use. I measure it strictly between what I'm experiencing. Okay, am I experiencing what love is wherever I go? No, then something's wrong. Okay? Something is very wrong. Okay, so then you'd have to say, well, who built the first game board? Who built the first planet ship? Who put together the first editor? Torsion field editors, torsion field movie players. How many levels you want to go up? Right? So Terrence, to his credit, talked about that. And in relation to that, whenever I experience something as an observer, then it's almost naturally going to come to me, the game. Okay? When you're online. Observing incoming content. So you're filtering content. So you're filtering content, whether you're online, whether you're on a laptop, whether you're on a desktop PC, whether you're on a phone or even if you're out in nature or in a city walking down a street. Okay? Counter move, move. See, so you realize that when you had 13 and 13, which is 26, it never balanced out. So then you could say, well, didn't they know that was going to happen? Right? Meaning that, what if they can't figure this out, that they're in a game board based on 0, trying to keep themselves balanced? They're never going to be able to balance themselves out. That's the game. So then you'd say, well, who put this game board together? Who put the underworld together? Right? Who created these beings? Because at the end of the day, when you realize love is law, it's you can't be both at the same time. It's either one or the other. Right? So now you get into the War and Peace report with Democracy Now! So you realize that the war side of things is the negative side. The peace side of things is the positive side. So that means that you're always experiencing war because you're always being gamed in a game system. That's why when I was 8 years of age, I looked up and said, listen, I don't want to do this. Because you already know your future. So then it's like a waste of energy. So there has to be some other rational explanation why somebody who experiences eternal love, who's in eternal service, would even be here to experience something at this level. That's a measurement of your own learning. Self-directed learning. Right? Self-directed learning in service to others forever. So this is where we get into the speed of learning. So what you begin to realize is that the more positive electrons you're giving away, the faster you go. And the faster that you're going, by the more energy you're giving away, the more of what you know you're connected to, a much larger universe that you now have access to, that you now become aware of others who are experiencing what you are, that are experiencing what love is. Because now you're all going faster. Now you're all going faster. That means that we're burning off everything that doesn't serve us. See? So now, and this is what happens between games with this AI as a result of fractures, which is deadlight, as a result of gamers, binary systems, binary chip cookies. All of which is against the law. So I remembered as a child, what guarantee are you ever going to have that we're not going to revisit this issue again? Because that means that we're not very creative and we're not very intelligent if we don't have ways to make sure that the future, as the future is defined, what I might experience 5 minutes from now or 2 days from now. I'm experiencing somebody else's move that I got no control over because I'm not seeking to control over anybody else's energy. What you do is up to you. It's not up to me. So now I don't impose my will on you. And then all of a sudden I realize that something happens where the shit hits the fan as a result of the system design. Which means it was flawed. The system design itself was flawed. Okay? So who was the original designer? It's your fault, Neil. So the faster the creative mind is experiencing more of what love is, the higher the intelligence of the universe is rising. That's called an acceleration of intelligence by virtue of being more creative that is on fire with what love is. And when those engines become stacked as chosen engines, which are chosen souls that are experiencing the higher acceleration in which we're going, it means to end all wars. Those that are on board know that engine. Those that aren't know what happens with their future. They don't have one. Okay? So anybody that is a war gamer, right, loses by default, which is the AI. So in order for it to continue to manifest itself, to maintain what I call its connection to us, because I experienced this in 2019 when I was dumping a gazillion bits and bytes of stuff held in memory, but it's so huge when you're a mated chip, which is a single pole, right? Because I realized as a child, I'm dumping every bit of this. Because from a system design, chip design, if you will, it doesn't serve very well at all. It's a flawed design. Right? So now you get into risk management, risk analysis, quantum mapping systems, and all the rest of it. Right? Which means, is there a built-in fail-safe? See? Well, now we're back to the counter space stuff. Move in a positive direction, move in a negative direction, right? So you see how that works with seeded races. Okay? I knew this as a child. What guarantee is a soul ever going to have that its soul is not going to get fractured if love is the law? Because if love is the law, and you're experiencing what love is within yourself, then you know that you're not supposed to experience anything less than that. So who is responsible, therefore, if love is truly the law, because that's what creation began out of, then please explain to me why I'm experiencing something that isn't. Doesn't add up, does it? So something's terribly wrong with this picture. So you immediately need some answers, so that's why I came in here. That's the truth of it. And naturally, I'm not the only one. So it's like an investigator, right? Like a parent. How bad did it get? Well, we're experiencing it. Okay, so what would you do? So it's one of the reasons I love Terence McKenna. But so I don't forget it this morning, I'm reminded of one of the first things I saw this morning by a channel that's called Truth Seekers. And this particular channel, I noticed, is outing all the SSP people. All the super soldiers, the Corey Good types, the David Wilcock types. You know, basically going after the folks that represent SSP. This would naturally be ACIO, and it's all associated with, all your corporate military types. And what's funny about this is how things get labeled as truth seekers, seeking the truth. Well, I am the truth because I am what love is. Okay? It's like saying I'm seeking to be something that you don't know that you already are. Like you're searching for yourself somewhere. The Searchers. Remember the movie with John Wayne, The Searchers? That's Google search, and I've said this forever, but I'm not what others are. They are what they are. I am what I am. And I've said this before. If you're needing to get information on what's going on through something on YouTube, the internet, a newspaper, a billboard, you really don't know what's going on. It means you're relying upon what others experience as a source of information for you to understand what's going on, and you don't have an idea. Because not everybody's vibrating at the same rate of speed, which means their reality stream is not the same as somebody else's. Not the least of which is how many souls we actually got left down here. And how many bots and gamers we actually have that have channels up that lie. Spoofers. You know what a spoofer is, right? In a game board system. So you got to read the codes, which is to read the language. So here's an example. On that particular channel with the Truth Seekers talking about the SSP and pedophiles. They used a particular language called grifters. Well, you know the difference of a gifter and a grifter. Letters are numbers, numbers are letters. Counter space, positive space. Negative space, positive space. So in other words, the AI uses the manner in which a mental field in somebody else's head is using the number arrangements, which is the editor, editing the torsion field using its mental pathway, which are the algorithms connected to the AI that is producing the letter and number arrangements that you see on that channel. And what do you think that produces as an observer? Now we're back to a year ago. Chuck the phone. Why am I even still here? because I'm well versed in how this game is played with artificial intelligence. As a result of fractured souls that go dead light. That's the truth of it. That means that the entire internet communication system that everybody is using to communicate with each other on is all running on our children's souls. Okay? And other fractals that occur every day as a result of counter space, positive space, right? And so this is where gifting energy, how much energy are we gifting? That's actually quantifiable, and it's qualitatively measured in a planet with two poles, right? So there's a difference between grifters and gifters, particularly in the letters and numbers, huh? They're like pretzels, convoluters. It's convoluted. So I realized that yesterday, for example, my creative mind was really at work when all of a sudden I put the phone down. I didn't care about the phone no more, right? Or what's going on. And then just going directly into my creative. Now I want to get crayons and all kinds of stuff. And I realized that the higher octave of the goddess energy that's being kickstarted back up on the planet is really going up. But it's natural for me to experience it here, particularly on the Big Island, as a high-speed accelerator. So that's good news. Cosmic level spirit. Absolutely. Cosmic level antennas are here. Thank you all for being here. We love you all. Be good to yourselves. That's a cool video by Terrence McKenna on black screen. Build your own damn wagon. Build your own damn wagon. Copycats. AI copycats. Original sound magicians.